Hello and welcome to Build Your Brand with a NxKit challenge. Let me start by asking you some questions. Do you currently have a brand or business, or are you curious about starting one? Do you want to get your message, your brand, or your business out to the world so you can help more people? And do you not only want to transform lives, but do you also want to be paid handsomely for it? If you have answered yes to any of those questions, then the Build Your Brand with a NxKit challenge is the challenge for you. Because over the next 5 days, I'm going to show you how you can, using the art of cyber celebrity branding and also what I call a next kit, how you can give your brand or business the edge, or for those of you that are starting out, how you can actually begin. I'm also going to do this by showing you how you can combine your passions, your talents, and your skills, literally the information that you have, into a magnetic brand package that will help you or a business to stand out, attract more clients, and convert more sales. And ultimately, we are going to explore how do you own a space in the brain of your potential customer, client, or follower, so as soon as they have the problem you are a solution to, they instantly think of you. Because this is my philosophy, guys. Regardless of all the information that you've heard about building a brand on the internet, some people say branding is about, building a perception inside someone's mind of what it is that you stand for. But ultimately, I believe that branding is actually learning how to own a neuron in your potential customer, client, or follower's brain so they instantly think of you as soon as they have the problem you are a solution to. And just comment below, let me know if you knew how to do that, how much easier do you think it would be to get your product or your service out there? How much easier would it be to even just get started? Because you effectively know the tools to really being able to affect change and transformation inside your potential customer, clients, or followers' lives. I want to make this challenge as interactive and as fun as possible, okay? So therefore, what I want you to do right now is just comment below. Let me know where you are tuning in from. I know people are tuning in from all around the world. I'm based in the UK, so where are you tuning in from? Just let me know in the comments below. And also connect yourself to StreamYard. Okay, somewhere around this video, there'll be some instructions for you to be able to connect your Facebook to StreamYard in order for me to be able to really communicate with you. I also want to say, if you have any questions whatsoever, if something comes up as I'm speaking, I also want you to drop those questions in the comments section below. And if I'm not able to answer them straight away, I definitely will get them answered at the end of each session. All right, so what we'll be doing every day, okay, you're going to get some cutting edge theory about how to either start your brand, or if you've currently got a brand or a business that's established, how you can take that to its next level in a way that enables you to be magnetic to your potential customers, clients, and followers. And I'm also going to give you a practical exercise to do, which I'm going to require you to complete on your next kit, okay? On your next spot, next kit. Because what I want for the end of these 5 days is, if you play full out, if you apply every single thing that I ask you to do over these 5 days, and trust me, it's going to be very, very simple. I don't want to make this too difficult. I don't want to make this too hard. But if you promise to commit some time, just about 20 minutes after each session, by the end of this 5-day process, you will have a dynamic brand showcase that not only, okay, attracts your potential customers, clients, or followers, or gets your potential followers to engage with you, but also will help you to be able to make sales much easier. And I'm also going to show you how you can share all of this information whenever you want to, with either a share of a link or with a swipe of the QR code. Because ultimately, the world has changed. We're now living in an age where people want to understand what it is that you do in a very quick and easy way. Gone are the days where people are willing to do all of this due diligence to find out what it is you do and how you can help them. The harder you make it for someone to interact with you or your business or your brand, is the less likely they are going to actually do business with you. They're less likely to actually engage with your brand. And as a result, you lose the ability to make that amazing connection that's not only going to make a difference inside your brand or inside your business, but it's also going to make a difference inside the people's lives that you are trying to help. All right, so at NxKit, we have 3 distinct mottos. And I want you to write these mottos down because I really want you to live by these mottos in order to help you to get the motivation that you need to achieve the objectives that we're going to go on over these 5 days. Okay, so motto number 1, rather than focusing on what I don't have, so that's in reference to you, rather than focusing on what you don't have, I will share what I do have. So let me say it again. Rather than focusing on what I don't have, I will share what I do have. Write that down so you can remind yourself at any moment in time. It's not about trying to be perfect. It's not about trying to have all the answers. It's about going and playing full out and taking action. Next one, write this one down. Something is always better than nothing. Let me say it again, all right? Write this one down. Something is always better than nothing. So as we go over these 5 days, I'm going to be sharing lots of information with you. I'm going to be requiring to develop different parts of your brand. And again, I don't want to encourage you to just sit on this information. As soon as you have it, I want you to put it out there in the world. And you're going to have your NxKit to enable you to do that. And I'll talk more about that later on, okay? But I want you to remember, something is always better than nothing. And the final one, the one that I love, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready, right? If you stay ready, you never have to get ready. How many times has this happened to you? Okay, you are caught short. You've been telling yourself, oh, I've got to put together, I don't know, like my website, or I've got to put together my page, or my bio, or my profile. And you tell yourself that you're going to do these things, but you put it off to the day after, and the day after, and the day after. And then what happens? One day someone actually asks you for it. And so what do you have to do? You then have to run around scrambling like a headless chicken, trying to put it all together. Like, comment below if this has ever happened to you, right? You're frantically trying to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And then you put something in, or you submit something, and in your mind, you're like, if only I had done this, or I could have done that better. And then you beat yourself up because you know that you should have actually given it more time. And this is why this is one of my favorite sayings. If you stay ready, you never have to get ready. All right, so what I want to do now is share my screen with you, so that we can begin to really delve into this work and to help you to really understand exactly what we're doing when it comes to building a brand and what the objective of it is. Because as I said, there's so much information on the internet about branding and how it works. And sometimes it can seem very complicated because most of the times it's presented in a way that isn't very tangible. It's almost presented as like an ethereal kind of concept, right? And so we can't quite get our head around it. And what I'm hoping to do for you, or what I will be doing, I'm not even hoping, what I will be doing over these 5 days, is really bring in what a brand is into your tangibility and showing you how you can use it to take your business or your current brand to the next level. Okay, so let me know when you can see my screen. All right, good. Nice. All right, so the question is, where are you now? When it comes to your business and brand, you're probably conflicted about what to say or what to share, right? Have you ever had that conflict where you sit down, you want to write a post, you want to put something together, you want to put your profile together, and you're just confused about what to say or what to share? And that often causes a conflict to the point where sometimes we don't even share it at all, right? Because we're just not sure how it's coming across. Perhaps you're worried about how you're coming across with your potential clients, customers, or followers. Has that ever been a question for you? Are you currently worried with that right now? How do people perceive your brand? Like, are you not getting the feedback that you would expect? Right? Are people not signing up to your products or your services? Are people not buying in droves? Okay. Are you confused as to why that's happening? And that gets you to question whether or not your message is coming across at all in the right way. Maybe you are stuck trying to build your website or social media following. This is a really big one, okay? And it often stops people from growing their business, or it stops people from getting started in their business, or growing a brand, or getting started in the brand. And it's all about, oh, I've got to have a website, or I've got to build my social media following. All right. And I'm going to show you over these 5 days that it's just about, as I said before, something is better than nothing. And if this is what's holding you back and you're not getting your message out to the world in a big enough or a bold enough way because of it, think about all of the people that you could be helping, but you're not. Maybe you're struggling to get the right people to take notice of your business or brand. People that seem genuinely interested, right? I'm not talking about, your family or your friends or, those sympathy follows, but maybe you're struggling to get genuine people who you would like to engage with your brand to potentially buy a product or service. I'm going to focus really in on, people that are, those of you that are really interested in, being able to sell products or a service, because ultimately that's where I see a brand should go. Okay, if you're starting out and you're just sharing information, we want to take it to that next level where you actually have a product or service to sell, and understanding how to communicate that message through your brand to make the process of doing that a lot easier. And why do I say that? Because ultimately, right, transforming lives, building a business or brand, if you think about why you got into it, there's two factors. One, to improve your life, but two, to also improve the lives of those that come in contact with your business, your brand, or you. Perhaps you are struggling to make consistent sales. For example, if you're selling high ticket, maybe you're struggling to sell high ticket sales. And when I say high ticket, a product that's worth 2K or above. Or maybe you've got a cheaper product that you're trying to sell and you're struggling to figure out how you can make sales consistently so that you can actually build a business that you can depend on, or that you can have a brand that's really working for you. And maybe you wish you could make more sales without the pressurizing stuff around it, right? Don't you wish that you could just have people reaching out to you and asking to engage with your products or your services without it feeling like you're constantly having to chase? Because what's the consequence of not being able to do this? It means that you're either stuck in an unfulfilling day job, which is most likely beginning to affect your mental health. I mean, that's where I was. This was what gave me the drive and the passion to get to the point. And I'm going to share my story with you a little bit later for those of you that don't know me, but get to the point where I was really ready to make the change and transformation and really stand for what it is that I believed in, something that I then created a brand around. It also means that you're not able to build a consistent cash flow, which stops you from providing the things that you desire for your loved ones. If you don't have consistent cash coming in, right, then it makes it very, very difficult for you to provide what's required for your loved ones. And as a result, it means that you end up feeling guilty, right? You end up feeling like, a failure because you're not able to give your loved ones the things that you know that they deserve. And it also means that you're probably constantly stressed and unhappy as you're not able to fulfill your potential. And maybe you're not the nicest person to be around when you're in that state. Maybe you're taking your frustrations out on other people because you're going to a job or you're doing things that you don't want to do, and you know deep down that you're not fulfilling your calling. Right. And I'm a really strong believer that if you've got a calling on your life, you know that you're here. And comment below. Let me know if any of these are resonating with you. And if you know that you have a strong calling, that you've been called to serve others with a product or a service or with your brand. And it gets frustrating when you're not able to get that message out there in the way that you want to. Maybe you feel like the best kept secret. That's the problem, like feeling like you are the best kept secret. So, where do you want to be? Over here, maybe you want to be clear about your brand message and how it is coming across and the impact that it's having. Could you imagine if you had that clarity, that every time you put out a post, every time you communicated what it is that you do, it was coming across clearly and was having the impact that you designed it to have. Now you know how to nurture your potential clients, customers, and followers so they are able to so you're able to hear more yeses than nos in your sales conversations. You're able to sell more of your product or services. You're no longer holding yourself back, okay, because you do not have a website or you do not have a huge social media following. Instead, you now have a business and brand that makes good, consistent revenue, right? We want that consistent revenue that we can depend on every single month. Over here, you are making steady and consistent sales every single week, every single month, and you're hitting those 10, those 20, whatever you envisage as your monthly, okay, your monthly revenue, you are now hitting that target. And what's the consequences of being able to do this? Well, it means your loved ones on special occasions, they are able and you are able to give them everything that they desire. You can give them the best, not some of the best, not picking or choosing. You can just go out there and give them exactly what you know that they deserve. And let me know if that resonates with you below. Comment in the chat box below. Not only that, you are finding that most of your sales are being made offline and everything seems to flow and just the process of selling is just easy. Okay, because everything is working in your favor to make that possible. You now have a business you and your loved ones can depend on. People are now starting to take what you have to offer seriously. Could you imagine that, where you now know and you feel confident that people are taking what you have to offer seriously? Because when you stepped out to create it, the whole idea, or when you're stepping out to create a brand, the whole idea is that you really want to be able to engage and transform the people's lives who are engaging with your brand. And as a result, you are no longer having to be careful with money. Comment below if that's something that you want, where you don't have to second guess. You know, there's no more fights, there's no more arguments, there's no more second thoughts about the new car or the new house or the latest gadget that you want to buy, the holiday that you want to go on. It's just a given because you have more than enough capital to be able to do that. All right, so some of you now may be thinking, okay, who is Jor'EL? Right? Well, why am I here and how do I have the authority to share what it is that I'm sharing with you? And I want to share my story with you for those of you that haven't met me before, okay? So I started off in a day job that was truly unfulfilling me. I started off as an engineer and I started, eventually, it got to the point where my health began to suffer because I was on that treadmill-like existence, where you wake up in the morning at ridiculous o'clock, like 4 a.m. in the morning, you're going to sleep at 9 a.m. at night, if not later, because you've got to finish off something that you've got to do for the office so you can feel like you're on top of your tasks. And as a result, you're just on this cycle, this treadmill. And ultimately, while I was living and doing my day job as an engineer, I just felt deep inside that there was something more. Okay, there was something more to life. Like, this wasn't what I was designed to do. I mean, I had a good paying job, right? It gave me good money, but sometimes money's just not enough. You need to have a passion and a calling for what it is that you do. And so it got to the point where I decided that, you know what, I wanted to change the direction of my life. But what always happens when we want to make a change, we're always hit with obstacles, right? So the very first obstacle I had was I didn't know where to start. Like, what was I going to do, first of all, right? How do I shift from working a 9 to 5, something that I've always done, into now running my very own business? And as you could imagine, starting something for the very first time gets very, very scary. But at around this time when I was making this decision to make the transition, the internet became very, very popular. And I kept seeing examples of people using the internet to escape their situation, using the internet to be able to transition out of their mundane existence and to start living their dream lives. the kind of life that I wanted to be leading, a life of purpose and a life where I knew I was making more of a difference as opposed to just following what somebody else told me to do. And so as a result, I went on a quest and I had two questions in mind. I want to know, first of all, how have these internet sensations, popped up on the internet, and how have they changed their life around? And can I do the same? And that led me onto a journey. And one of the very first things that I came into contact with, and I was totally, totally skeptical. I've got to say that I was very, very skeptical because the concept, and it was the concept of branding, the concept of branding to me was something that was reserved for, like, businesses or big conglomerates. And I really didn't think I, as an everyday person, had anything that anyone would be interested in or had anything that was worth branding. However, I went to my very first branding seminar, a bit like most of you are on this challenge, right? I went to a seminar where they promised to be able to give me an understanding and a concept of exactly what branding is and how it could help my life. And I remember I was sat there on the internet watching the lady do her presentation. And she said the words that I would never, ever forget. She said, when it comes to branding, when it comes to building a personal brand, the things that you brand are your passions, your talents, and your skills. And you combine that with your unique life story. And from there, that's when everything else will unfold. And that kind of set off a light bulb for me. It kind of really got me to start thinking. It really made me start understanding that potentially I did have something to brand. And so I began to investigate it. And social media was the thing as it is now, right? And I remember setting up on Instagram for the very first time, and it took me ages to post my very first post. But I just began to share little insights about who I was, what I did, what I enjoyed. And before I knew it, I began to build a bit of a following. And I went from like 100 followers to 1,000 followers to 10,000 followers in a year. And that was all organic without having to do anything, just because people were interested in my message. And so that's one of the very first images that you can see on the screen, my Instagram account. From there, I began to get asked to host. I began to host events. I began to, like, do shows. And all of this was opened up because I had the courage, right, to make that very first post. And there you can see me. I'm actually speaking to dignitaries, right? At the top here, you can see me. I'm speaking to the mayor of Hackney. And then if you look down here, I'm hosting a fashion show. And over here, I'm speaking to Reggie and Bowley, and they were from the X Factor, as I was asked to do something in the YouTube space. And as a result of this, as my brand and my business began to grow, people began to get really interested. They wanted to understand what it is that I was doing and, whether or not they too could do the same. And so I began to package it up in a way that could help them to navigate that space. And here you will see me having won 2 awards for those efforts. So these are awards which recognize my efforts in helping others to achieve their business goals through the tools of branding. And now it's got to the stage where I've created my very own system for showing people how they can use their passion, their talents, their knowledge, their know-how, and how they can package it up into what I call a cyber celebrity brand. And what do I mean by that? Well, I actually believe that traditional branding as a concept is dead. Okay, because there were certain parameters around traditional branding which are no longer relevant in the digital world that we live in if you really want to make an impact. And one of those classic things is, before, we used to have like a separation between the business brand and the person, right? And there was this real clear separation. You had the business brand, and that was what you pushed, effectively almost hiding behind a logo. All right. And then you had the personal brand. And many people didn't really conceive their personal brand. They just focused in on the business brand. However, now in the digital age, with the level of connection that people require from us, it's no longer satisfactory. It no longer works to separate the two. All right. You can't separate the person from the business. Or even if you are creating a separation, there needs to be a personality, okay, that people can really connect with if you really want to grow your business and grow your brand. And so that's why the concept of cyber celebrity branding came to the fore. Because now, with the concept, I believe that you have to have the best of both. You have to have a well-conceived personal brand, and you also have to have a well-conceived business brand. In fact, in this day and age, the personal brand is way better, way more personable, way more effective than the business brand is. If you're willing to share who you are and be vulnerable and be open and connect from a place of truth and sincerity, that will help you to build your business more than any other thing out there. And oftentimes there's a misconception, right? Many people believe that branding is just about colors, logos, and fonts, right? And websites. But what you're going to find over these 5 days, that actually branding is way more. And if you understand how to put together a well-conceived brand, you will literally unlock your ability to transform people's lives while also being paid handsomely for it. And so now I'm about to release my very own book. This is going to be coming out this quarter, so please look out for it. Called The Secrets of Cyber Celebrity Branding. And I'm also the founder of NxKit. And you're going to hear more about NxKit as I go through this challenge. And I also have my very own service where I help people to build their brands and their businesses either from scratch or to establish a current business through the power of cyber celebrity branding. All right, so that's a little bit about me. And now what I want to do is I want us to move into our very first topic. All right, so the very first thing that we're going to talk about, so make sure you've got your pen and your paper ready, because the very first thing that we're going to cover on this challenge together is understanding what I call the neuron effect. Okay, how do you own a space in the mind of a potential customer, client, or follower? And if you just take a little look at this image I've got below, okay, we can see McDonald's, we can see Apple, we can see Disney, and we can see Google. And if you just look to the left, let's look at McDonald's, for example. Every single one of these brands have worked really, really hard using what I call the neuron effect to get their brand to stick. And what are they sticking to? Number one, they're sticking to a neuron inside your brain. So you can instantly think of them when you have the problem that they are a solution to. And they're also identifying their brand very, very clearly with the problem that they can solve. Very, very important. Write this down. Your brand has to become synonymous with the problem that you can solve. If you cannot make the two link, then you're going to have a problem. Okay, as soon as because what we want is as soon as your potential customer, client, or follower thinks of you or thinks of a problem that they have, they instantly think of you, right? And they instantly, if they think of you, they understand what problem you can solve. All right, so if we think about McDonald's, what's the problem that they're solving? Where can I get some quick food? You're hungry, you want some quick food. McDonald's constantly puts their brand out there so that you understand that they are a solution to that problem. Apple, where can I get a new smartphone? Okay, again, top of the range, top of the line smartphone, you think of Apple. Apple have done this so well that they've actually just taken a lion share of the market. You have Apple and then you have Android. And Apple is just one type of brand and phone, whereas Android covers all of the other brands and all of the other phones. That's how powerful Apple have been when it comes to building their brand. Disney, what's safe for my children to watch? Okay, again, Disney has aligned themselves with that. It was really funny. I was actually watching Disney Plus. It's like a streaming service that you can get on TV. And I was so shocked, right? So shocked when I saw that they actually had adult focused programs. I was really, really shocked because for me, for years, Disney was just about animation and it was just about kids. And to suddenly realize that they're now branching out, I almost felt a bit conflicted whether or not the two, the adult stuff and the kids stuff should actually reside in the same platform. But you see, that's the power of it. When you make a brand synonymous with something, that's what sticks inside someone's neuron. And then Google, well, they've just become synonymous with how do I do anything? I don't know about you, right? They've even made it the thing, right? If you want to find out information, you Google it. That's how powerful they've been with their branding. So, what are they doing? When you see these adverts on TV, when you see every time there's a break, you know, you're being bombarded with this with their branding, you're being bombarded with their adverts, and some of you may be thinking, well, I mean, Apple, McDonald's, they're so big, like everybody knows who they are, right? Why on earth do they still need to brand? And the reason is because they understand this. It is an industry fact that your potential client, customer, or follower needs at least 8 to 12 good exposures with your business before they are ready to buy, engage, or do business with you. I would write this down because this is the key to your brand's performance. Okay, you want your brand to be working on your behalf so that it can provide 8 to 12 good exposures about you, your business, what you do before a potential customer, client, or follower is ready to engage with you. And this is why these brands consistently advertise for two reasons. Number one, they want to strengthen that neuron in your brain. Every single time you see the advert, even if you don't like McDonald's, right? Even if you don't like Apple, they still strengthen that neuron in your brain. Okay, so that you may not like them, but you know what they do. Okay, you may not like them, but you know who they are and you talk about them. And as a result, one day you just might take the bite. Let me tell a very interesting story. I was an Apple guy through and through. I had every phone that I got right from the beginning. Apple was my go-to. And in my mind, I suddenly began to think, oh, Apple may be a bit restrictive, and and then Google came out, and Google's got a good brand. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give Google a go. And I remember going for the Google Pixel phone because of the camera. I wanted the camera quality that the Google Pixel phone was selling. And I remember taking the leap from being Apple all the way to Google. And I brought the Google Pixel phone. Now that's the power of what I'm talking about with the branding. It was like in the hope that one day I would now be looking to make a new buying decision and I choose Google over Apple. However, what happened was that I went to Google and I had such a bad experience. It was so bad. Like I remember using the camera to take these amazing pictures. And then I went to download the pictures onto my phone, off my phone onto my laptop, and my entire card on the phone, for whatever reason, corrupted. And it meant that I couldn't get access to all of those juicy pictures that I needed for my branding. And I mean, it was like being shot with an AK-45. I literally just died. I took the phone, I put it in a drawer, and even though I was paying for it as a contract, I never looked at the phone again. And I went straight back to my Apple phone and have never and will never. And the funny thing is every time I see a Google phone, that experience comes back to me, right? And that's because, again, the power of the advertising. Yeah, it's about owning the space inside someone's brain. Now, what am I seeing? Coaches or new businesses or brand owners, at best, usually get between 3 to 4 bad exposures at max before a potential client is expected to make that buying decision. And not only that, new businesses and brands are very poor at keeping in contact with potential clients. Okay, so if they've had a client come in contact with their business, they're very poor at keeping that relationship going. And what do I mean by the term making a buying decision? Okay, you want to, at the peak of when someone's going to make a choice about your brand, okay, potentially fulfilling their problem that they have, or your business fulfilling the problem that they have, they need to be given they need to have what's called like the omnipresent effect, okay, where they're constantly being reminded about who you are, what it is that you do, and how it is that you do it, especially when they come into contact with your brand or business, because it's usually at a time when they've been researching or investigating somebody else's brand or business, right? So you've got to even make sure that you have more exposures and that your brand is working for you. And if you're getting about 3 to 4 bad exposures, there is a difference between good and bad exposure, and we will come back to that. Then the result is it results in poor engagement and poor sales. Okay, people just, if you're not getting enough exposures or you're getting exposures but they're too infrequent. So again, if you think about the analogy I gave you with adverts on the TV, after at every single interval, you're seeing practically the same adverts over and over again. Those are exposures in close succession, because those exposures in close succession is what initially gets the neuron to be built in the first place. But if you get one exposure today, and then you get another exposure, let's say 5 days later, and another exposure 10 days later, you haven't built up enough of a connection yet to really allow that neuron to stick. All right. And that's the key. It's about, especially when someone's coming into your brand, you want them to be able to get all of those exposures that they need before being required to make a buying decision. Because exposures are designed to make your potential client, customer, or follower feel safe. And we're going to go into this in more detail later on in the challenge. I've got a whole section on that, but it's all about the inner safety that a potential customer, client, or follower needs to feel in order to move towards you to make a buying decision. If they're not feeling safe, and just, I always say to people when they're thinking about their brand, okay, when they're thinking about putting out a brand message or conceiving a brand message, for example, always think about how would you like to be treated, right? How would you like to connect, or how would you like that brand to show itself to you? Okay, what would you want to know before you made that buying decision? Because if you can crack that and you can figure it out and you can get your brand, as we're going to learn over this challenge, to show all of those things to a potential customer, client, or follower before they're ready to make a buying decision, you're going to find that you begin to build not just customers, clients, or followers, but you're going to start building raving fans, as they call it. People that are really just brought into what you do, your philosophy, and how you do it. And that all comes from what I'm talking about, this neuron effect, okay, and how you go about owning a space inside someone's brain. You know, because for your potential clients, this leads to a state of inner safety, as I was saying, and it helps them to make an informed decision. That's the key. Your brand is designed to help someone make an informed decision. So the brand should give them everything that they need to make a decision whether or not your brand is right for them or the solution or service that you provide is right for them. Because this leads to happy clients and more yeses. Just comment below if you understand what I mean by the exposures. Like, does that resonate? Does that make sense with you, to you? You know, have you noticed, you know, how, you know, a brand can just come out on the market and then all of a sudden you start engaging more and more and more with the brand, and all of a sudden now it becomes what they call a household name, right? You want to become a household name within the mind of your potential client, customer, or follower. All right, so what I want to talk to you about now, so we can begin to get our tools together to start building this dynamic showcase that I've been speaking about, is what is a NxKit and how does it work, okay? Because this is going to form the basis of how you're going to start building this dynamic brand message that's really going to help you to build a magnetic brand that helps your customer, clients, or followers to really engage with you, but not only that, do business with you also, which is what we want ultimately. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. So just let me know when you can see my screen. Just bringing this up now. All right, and also comment below. Let me know if this is making sense so far. And also, what is it that you're looking forward to getting out of the rest of this challenge as well? Let me know in the comments below, because that's also important. I can ensure that I add something in there so everyone gets a little bit of something that they require, okay? All right, so here is the NxSpot site. And what I want to do is I'm going to show you how to very quickly create an account, which I think most of you have done. So if you haven't done so already, then I need you to go ahead and do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through the NxKit. And then we're going to understand how we're going to use it over these next 5 days to really build that dynamic brand message that I have been talking about. All right, so let me just get this here. All right, so very first thing you want to do is go to sign up. All right, and once you've gone to sign up, then it's a very quick sign up form. I'm going to just get an email address here so I can put that in. Okay, so first name, I'm going to just put John, and last name, go. All right, username. So we're going to say John, go. I'm going to say 1957. All right, and email address, put that in, and then you create a quick password. So, and perfect. Lastly, what is 5 plus 7? 12. All right, good. Agree the terms and conditions, and then you can create your account. All right, so this is said it's already been used. So let's put that in. Choose. All right. All right, let's change that all together. All right, good. So now we are in. So there's an intro video, which I would always advise you to watch. But for now, we're going to just go straight into the profile section. Okay, and this is what your profile section looks like. And what I want you to do and to recognize is we're going to come and fill out this profile section at a later date. But this is also something that I would recommend that you fill out when we begin to put together your brand package. So we're going to just end the tour. And then we're going to come down to here. It says click start to build your press kit. So we're going to click start here. And this is essentially what I'm referring to as a NxKit. What this does is it allows you to put your information together in whichever way, shape, or form that you desire in order to get your brand message across. Because when you have your information packed into one page, it gives you that ability to get those 8 to 12 exposures that I was talking about earlier. Really, really important, right? Because it means that you can have your brand organized in a way on one page for someone to really engage and interact with it in order to begin to start building that neuron about what it is that you do and how you do it. And things like, you know, how much does it cost and what are the logistics in order for them to be able to work with you. Okay, and so by using this template, all of the information that we have is going to actually be on one page. And that's the beauty of this challenge, because oftentimes what happens is that you're given information and then it becomes very scattered, right? It's all over the place. And then you've got to figure out how can you bring it together. Well, if you apply what I'm going to ask you to do within this NxKit, then you will be able to do that. And just to show you how it works, it gives you the opportunity to like add information. So you can add, you know, a title for your brand. You can add some contact details for your brand. But not only that, it also gives you the ability to share your website and your social media. So any websites, any social media that you want people to have access to so they can get further exposures with your brand, it allows you to put that here. It also helps you to share information about your story, okay, about you and who you are, which is very important. Like in this presentation, I shared who I was, right? Because people want to know who you are, right? And so you can now craft that in a way that fits on your NxKit. It also helps you to put information about your products, your services, and your skills, right? So, you know, if you're looking to get an opportunity, if you're looking for someone to buy something from you, if you're looking for someone to interact with you, then they can have all the information that they need in order to make a buying decision. Over here, you're able to put things like your other details. You know, if it's important to your brand, let's say you're working inside the fitness space, it may be important to your brand for you to share, you know, what height you are, or if you're a model, for example, it may be important for you to share your height and your size, okay? And that gives you an opportunity to do that over here. And then from there, you can also put things into it like downloads. Okay, so people can download something and really engage with your brand. Think about how powerful that is. Imagine if someone came into contact with your brand for the first time, and then you were able to give them some value where they're able to now interact with your brand and get a result. Imagine how much that would reinforce what it is that you do, how it is that you do it, and how you can help them. And so you're able to add downloads to this template as well. Not only that, you're also able to add your digital artwork. So any kind of photos, things that you need, like social proof, for example, another very important thing to add in your brand. People want to see other people engaging with what it is that you have to offer. There's always this thing, right? People don't like to feel like they are the ones that have gone first. They always like to feel that it's been tried and it's been tested. And as they say, a picture paints 1,000 words, right? So if you have some pictures which show you or show your brand or show you engaging or show other people engaging with what it is that you do, then that's really going to help to set that neuron, as I was talking about, inside a potential client, follower, or customer's brain. Videos. Video content's amazing. Okay, you get to share up to 3 videos. And what this enables you to do is now you can even um, expand their experience with your brand. Okay, because now they can really engage with a piece of content. They can really understand what it is that you want to do in a longer format. And again, if you choose the right videos to share, it really reinforces that neuron in a potential customer, client's, or follower's brain. If you have any audios, maybe you've been on podcasts, again, you have an opportunity to share this on this page. Again, enriching your potential customer or client's experience with your brand, especially if they're coming in contact with your brand for the very first time. Any awards, any achievements, any press, anything that you've got that really shows you as being, let's say, a thought leader in your field, then again, you can put this on this page on your NxKit, and this will help to communicate that in a dynamic way for someone to really understand that you are a mover and a shaker in your chosen field. And then also, if you've got any external blogs, anything that you've written, again, you put it on this page. Once someone connects with a couple of pieces of content and they really like what it is that you are offering, they're going to investigate further, right? They're going to investigate what more you have to offer. And the beauty of working with your NxKit is that you are able to put it all in one page. Right, some of you right now, let me know. You may have a Facebook profile, you may have an Instagram profile, you may be on TikTok. Let me know what profiles you have below. Okay, you may be on all of these different places, but the beauty of this is you don't have to rely on someone trying to search or trying to find you out. Okay, because all the information is there. And when you are a new brand or a business and you're trying to establish yourself, or if you're trying to take your brand or your business to the next level, the easier that you can make your potential client's job at understanding what it is that you do and the problem that you can solve for them, the easier it is that they and the more likely they will engage with your brand and do business with your brand. Now, this is where I want to really remind you of our discussion that I said earlier. I really want you to remember that something is always better than nothing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just build a little bit of this every single day. And the bits that you don't have, the beauty of it is if you don't put it on your page, it just disappears. Like no one will be none the wiser. So it's better to have interactions with people than not to have any at all, okay? Because you're waiting for videos or you're waiting for something else. So as I said, not all of these fields are not mandatory. So what we're going to do by the end of these 5 days is we're going to help you to build a brand package to suit where you are at right now. And then over time, you can add to it and grow. And that's the beauty of why it's called the NxKit, okay? Because it's always evolving, it's always growing. What is the next kit that you need to create in order to help make your interaction with someone a lot easier? Okay, good. So what are we going to be doing for today's task? All right, so I want you to come onto this page for today. And what we're going to create is the basic business card version. Because at least with that, you've got something to share with someone. You can share it as a link. So if you're communicating on the internet and someone asks you for something about your business or your brand, you can share this link and they get all of the information in a dynamic page, right? All of those interactions that they need. Or you can share it out and about and on the go, okay? Because someone can scan your QR code. And the business card is so easy to create. Literally, after this session, I want you to take about 5 minutes to create it. I'm going to literally create this part of it right now to show you. And what we're going to do is you're going to come onto this page, your profile information section, and you're going to simply put your press kit title here. Now, what do I recommend? As a press kit title, something like connect with me, something like your name, okay, something like the name of your brand, that will make an amazing press kit title, okay, or an amazing NxKit title. So we're going to put here NextSpot, because that's the name of my brand. Okay, so press kit titles in. The next thing that you want to share is email address. Okay, what is your email address that you want people to correspond with you? If someone is curious about a product or service, they need and they want to find out more information about it, it's always good for them to be able to have some way to contact you. If not, you are missing out on being able to help someone to get clear, and and as a result, they're not going to be able to make a buying decision. So let's put our email address in. I'm going to put the NextSpot one in right now. Good, done. Telephone number. Okay, what is it? What telephone number do you want them to contact you on? All right, so you just simply put that in. Cool. And then lastly, you're going to choose your genre or your title. Okay, and you're going to click down, and there's lots of suggestions here. Okay, but you might have, let's say, a specific title that you want to go by. So I go by brand strategist. And we're going to talk about titles, but one of the things I want you to think about for now is, if you had to think of a name for yourself, or if someone said to you, what do you do? And you just had a couple of words, what would that umbrella be? Okay, so I go by brand strategist. So I will come down to other, and that opens up a box for you to specify your specific thing that you want to go by. So I'm going to put brand strategist in here. Perfect. All right. So now the business card version of your press kit is done. All we have to do is click create, and that now gets created for you. And if we come down here, you can see your NxKit has been created. You've got my title, which was NextSpot. And if I click on view, I have this part set up. Okay, so now I have my email address, I have my telephone number, and I also have this QR code, which is generated for you. Okay, so this is one of the ways that you can begin to share it. And I also have a way to share it here. So you can share it to like WhatsApp or whatever place your potential person is hanging out. All right. And what we're going to do over time is I'm going to show you how you can build like the perfect vision for your brand, how you can build the perfect mission for your brand, and show you where to put these pieces on your NxKit. So as I said, over the 5 days, this page will become your go-to brand showcase to help you to get your product, service, or message across. It's simple and it's easy. So what I want you to do is just take 5 minutes today at the end of this session and have that bit completed, and then we'll come back tomorrow and I'm going to just share with you the things that we're going to look at tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to be talking about the cyber celebrity branding essentials. Okay, and this is what I call how you begin to combine the best of both, as I mentioned earlier. So we're going to look at all the things of like, what's the direction if you're not sure of your direction? How do you get really, really firm and really, really sure of the direction of your business and your brand? And the foundations that you need to have in place, like, your mission, your vision, and all this kind of stuff. We're going to put that together so that you're able to have that in one place. I'm also going to show you how to use your brand to sell the dream. Okay, because that's ultimately what your brand needs to do. While you're sleeping, your brand should be working for you. And what do I mean by that? Your brand should be educating and your brand should be informing and helping people to really understand what it is that you do and how do you do that. And When you understand how to build a brand this way and create assets, okay, and when I say an asset, I mean an asset that works on your behalf, that creates a desire for a potential customer or client to move forward, to want to engage with you or to do business with you. Once you understand how to do that, it means even when you're off shift, your brand could be working for you. Your brand could be giving people those vital exposures that they need to build that inner safety that I mentioned about earlier on in this session. I'll also be talking to you about how you can turn your brand into a dynamic business. Okay, now, if any of you are watching, you don't currently have a product, that's the next phase. You need to have a product. Okay, you need to have something that you can share with others if you want to not only use your brand to educate, but you want to use your brand to help people to make the next step in their transformative process. And if you've already got a product or a service, then we're going to look at, well, how do you take that to the next level, and what key information do you need to be sharing in order for someone to actually move towards you and say, yes, I want to buy that product, regardless of what the price is. Okay. And so that's going to be our focus over the next 5 days. I have really, really enjoyed serving you on this challenge. Okay. I've really enjoyed sharing this information with you. Comment below, let me know if this is something that has been helpful, if you've enjoyed session 1. Also, let me know below, what questions do you have? You know, what questions come to mind as I was talking? Is there anything you need answered specifically? And also let me know, what are you interested in finding out about on this challenge as well? Again, comment below, as it will be wonderful for me to be able to share those particular insights with you, so you can get everything that you need from this particular challenge. So that was me for today. And please go ahead and do your homework. Remember, it's a simple 5-minute task. I want you to download NxSpot or create your account, and I want you to create your business card version. And then tomorrow we're going to come in and fill out the rest. All right. So until next time, you take care. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. GMT. Bye-bye, everyone.